Hey guys, this is Aziz from Indie Development and it is Tech Time. Today we're gonna do another tutorial of the machine problem series, and this one will be part 7, and this is the homework that we're gonna work on. So here it is. This is called Blackjack. It's a game of blackjack and it will be in classes and main and functions. It will be a long tutorial, so it will be 2 parts. So here's the idea behind it without reading the whole thing. You could also read the whole thing under Indie Development under the post of Machine Problem series under Machine Problem 7. So here it is. You say Blackjack by your name, the shuffle deck, and you shuffle a whole deck of cards, which is 52 cards, and you shuffle them. Then you get players, a bunch of players. You get them from a file, and there is the hit limit. If they are on that, they want to get another card. If they are above that, let's say this Andy is 16, what he has, the total of the cards that he has is 16, then he will not get another card. So right here, right now, hand for Andy, we give them cards. They get the first card, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, then they get the 8th card because we have 7 players, so the next card would be this. So it would be after the number of players actually. So they get this card, here it is, and they got this card too, and the value of both hands is 20. So we do that for each player, even the dealer. We give him 2 cards too. And then playing the game. Who wants to play? The value of hand for Andy is 20 and his limit is 15. So he doesn't want to get any more because he already passed his limit. If he was, say, 14 or so, then we give him more. So for Bob is 12 right now, and his limit is 17. So we gave him a 4 and a J, and he is now 26. And at the end, the result of this game is this much. So if someone is above 26 or above 21, the game is 21. Above 21, they will lose to the dealer. If the dealer is 21, then he wins above everybody else. If the dealer is less than 21 and someone is less than 21 but above the dealer's card, then they win. And we're gonna deal with all that when we're doing the code. So let's go ahead and minimize this, and there's the input file. It will be under Indie Development under the post for this blackjack game. So let's go ahead and start it. Let's go ahead and launch Visual Studio, and this time we're gonna do it using Visual Studio 2012 because that's a new one. It's not gonna be any different with 2010. It's the same exact thing, but different styles and different way of coding makes it much easier. So I'm gonna use that today. Here we go. Let's make a new project, just like usual, an empty project of Visual C++. Make sure you're on that, and we're gonna call it Blackjack. And OK it. There we go. Alright, now let's open Solution Explorer. Let me tag it right in here. If you don't have Solution Explorer, always remember View Solution Explorer right here. So let's go ahead and right click on Source Files, and let's make a main. In Visual Studio 2012, it will make it as source.cpp. It doesn't really matter. You can call it drive, main, source, whatever it is. I'm going to keep it at source, and this is C++. There we go. Let's keep it like this. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm gonna leave it at source. We're gonna start by using the header files, which is for the class. So let's right click, add new item, and let's add a header file. And this header file, we will name it card. Enter. There is the card file. So let me zoom in right away to 200, so I don't forget that. Now let's make the resource file right here, add new item, the .exe file. Let's see, here it is in the utility, .exe text file, and let's call it input. You can call it whatever you want to also. And here's the input. We're gonna just copy it from here. You can name your players whatever you want. There's also an, after you finish naming, put an enter right at the end. Right here, it just the formatting of the program needs an enter right here, so it knows that's the end of the file. Just do that. So here again, now there is no enter right here if I click here. click at the end after 40 and press enter, and there is a line. You can see the yellow and green right here. So you can just put a name and a number, a name and a number. This is going to be their hit limit, where they want to stop. If they have above that, they don't take more cards. If they have that or less, they take another card. So let's go back to card.h, and in here we're going to include the libraries. So we're going to include IO stream, because we're going to output to the command prompt, not to the console, not to a file. But we're going to input from a file, so we're also going to use fstream to input from a file. We're also going to use string. We're going to use a random function to shuffle the card, so we need a ctime function to randomize according to the time. We're also going to need IO manip just to format everything and put it in the right way. Let's go ahead and continue. Using namespace as usual, std, and let's make the class. So class and card, just the same name as the header file. That makes it much easier. Open, close the bracket. Right here we're going to create the private area, which is for the variables, integer, the face of the card, and char is for a suit. Suit is just like hard, diamond, whatever it is, the other two. So we in classes we also need to put a semicolon right here at the end after the last bracket. So let's go ahead and continue. This is the public area, public, and let's make the constructor right here equal 0, and we're gonna do a char also equal nothing right now, for right now, and we'll write the code for them later, but let's just make the functions right here. So we're also going to need to do a function to set the cards of the players if we want to play with them and change anything during the code. Remember setters and getters, always remember that. So let's put under the card, let's put a different function. Let's put void display. This is going to display the cards, and void swap. This swap is gonna deal with randomizing the cards, just to give random cards, shuffle them. So in here we're also gonna need integer get face, because the face is an integer. The face is like 1 2 3 4 5 and until king. Char get suit. So getters right here. Remember, there's a tutorial on classes in indiedevelopment.co under C++. You can, under the intro series, you can just watch it, or you can just tag along and see it. So now let's create another file right in the resource files, add new item, and let's make it a header file right here, and let's go ahead and name it card functions, and there's the card functions. Let's zoom in. Here we go. Alright, in the card functions we're gonna include, remember it's double quotes to include another file. So we're gonna include the card.h, so we can look at it and see that there is this class and there is these libraries we can use. So let's go ahead and continue. Let's actually drag card.h, drag it down, and here's the center circle. Just put it on the right. There it is. Let's go ahead and read off of it and code as we go along. So right here, the first thing first, we're going to create the card, colon, colon. Always remember to access anything from the class is colon, colon. There's the card, and open it, integer, and we're going to call it F for face, and char S for suit, and open close brackets. Alright, now we're going to code it face, which is the face of the variable, the private one, is equal to F. And suit, which is this, now is going to equal to whatever we pass from the user, which is S. So whatever the user passes will make these different. Okay? Alright, let's gonna go ahead and continue with it. The next function we're going to need is void card, colon, colon, and we're going to do the swap. Here it is, open, and we're gonna need to pass card right here, the swap, we're gonna need to pass the card and sign. So card, and this is just to pass it back and forth between them. So when something changes, the card also changes. We're also gonna have to give it a name. So let's give it a name C for cards. Um, we're gonna change them by creating a temporary one. This is a usual way of swapping things. You have to have a temp. What basically happens is, to explain it in a better way, say you have two students on two chairs and you want to swap them. You want to keep them. While you're swapping them, they need to be on a chair. So you need to bring in another chair, sit the first one on the temporary chair, move the second one in the first chair, and then move the first one from the temporary chair back into his chair and take the third chair out. So you have just two chairs now. So we need to do that. Temp dot face, the face of it is going to be equal to whatever we pass, C dot face, and temp dot suit, whatever the suit we passed, is equal to C dot suit, and then again C dot face is equal to this, as I explained before, it means whatever the class has. It means this class. It's basically saying this class without saying this class. It's just saying this. Whenever you can use it with any Microsoft kind of programming language like C# and C and C++. I think you can use it in C. So let's go ahead. This face, and C dot suit is equal to this suit, and then we can move on next. This face, this is basically just saying card dot face, but without actually saying that. Equal temp dot face, and this suit equal to temp dot suit. There you go. So what's gonna happen here is the temporary, what we have right here, we're gonna set it. It's now nothing. So nothing is gonna, the face of nothing is gonna be whatever we passed. The suit of nothing is gonna be whatever we passed. Then whatever we passed is gonna take whatever we already have right here in this function, and then this function, this class is gonna take whatever we already had in temp and C. So it's gonna swap the whole thing. If you don't understand it, please ask me. Go ahead and ask me on YouTube or indedevelopment.co, and I'll be more than happy to help you understand it. So let's go ahead and continue with it. The next one is going to be the display function. So it's a void function right here, and card colon display, there it is. And we're not going to pass anything because it's just going to be displaying things. So we need to do a switch case for face. We're going to do the face. The reason for that is because 11 is a jack, 12 is a queen, 13 is a king, 1 is an ace. So the program doesn't understand that. It doesn't know that. So we need to tell it. So case, it is 11, then cout jack, and then there it is. Then do a break. I like to set my breaks after like enter and then set it here, so I remember when I see them I know, okay, there is a break. It makes it much easier to understand, so I'm gonna keep it like that. It makes it easier to check your switch cases, and you can see the breaks right here. So under everyone you can see it, but if it's at the end you might not see it. Cout. So here's a queen and break again, and case 13 cout king, break again, and case it is a 1 cout ace, and then break, and then the default, it's any other number. Any other number would just cout face, and you don't have to, but let's put a break right here just because. At the end we cout the suit, because the suit just is a suit, there is nothing to it. We're gonna make a function to display heart, diamond, and other things in another area, not in the display right here. That's in another place. So let's go ahead and continue. Now that we have the card display right here, and I'm gonna stay on it for a second while people are writing it. The next three functions actually are gonna be the set card, get face, and get suit. So let's go ahead and continue and do that, and I'm gonna keep it on the top so you can keep copying. So let's go ahead and do the void card, and here's the set card. It's a void function, so set card, and we have to pass an integer and a character to it, so int face char s for suit. Here we go, and face is equal to f and suit is equal to s. I understand that it's very similar to the default, not default constructor, because this is not default, you have to pass things to it. It's similar to constructor, but the constructor you have to create a whole new variable for it, a whole new class. So we don't want to do that, we just want to do this. So it's going to continue integer card colon colon and then get face. This one will get the face. Since it's getting something, we don't need to pass something to it, so return face, it will return it. Char card get suit and return suit. There we go. So now we're done with the whole card functions. There we go. So let me show you just what happened here. We made the constructor, so when we create a variable we can pass things to it right away. We made a swap function so we can use it with the shuffle. After we shuffle, we randomize. After we get the cards, we swap them, we shuffle them basically. Display, it will display what card it is and what suit it is. It's just displaying. Card, set card, we can set the card while we have a variable, so we don't have to make a whole new class for it, a whole new, like using the constructor. We can just set the card, the initial card that we have. Get face, it returns the face. Get suit, will return the suit if we need it. So that's it, we're done with this function, right, with this file right here. If you are not catching up with me by typing, you can visit indiedevelopment.co, and under the tutorial, if you click read more, or under it, if you scroll down, you will see the code for all of it, so you don't have to keep typing while I'm doing it, but it does help. So let's go ahead and continue. The next thing we're going to do is functions. So before that, I think it would be better if we create the C++, the CPP file right here, the source.cpp, so we know what was going to happen. So let's go ahead and start on this one, the source.cpp, which is right here. So let's go ahead and create it. We are already created, but let's go ahead and code it. Include, we're going to include the card.h, not card functions, card.h, because it is the one that has all the libraries, and we need to read the libraries to code anything. So card.h, here we go, and let's go ahead under it and type void main, the normal procedure, and system, and there's pause. Alright, so in here we're going to create a couple of variables. One of them is int hit, for the hit of players, which is we're going to input from a file how much is their hit limit, and we're going to create a bunch of global variables, but they're not going to be right in here, they're going to be in a different file. So for now, let's type 7 right here and worry about it after that. 7 players, and cards value, and here we go, 7. So how much value is in their hand right here, and we can initialize it by doing this. That won't be a problem. You can initialize this too by doing this. The rest of it is we need an index. This is just like a counter equals 0. We need a I equals 0, and under it there is no comma right here. Let's put a comma, sorry about that. A string, so players, and we have 7 players here. Here it is, that's the name of them, that's why it's a string. Char, the limit is equal to just character. We're gonna open the file right here, ifstream fn and input.txt. There it is. And we can create if not fn cout, the file is not opening correctly, and line. There it is. And then system, you need to do a system pause just to pause it so you can see that it didn't open, and then exit 0 so it doesn't run to the next codes. After that, we're gonna call right here, we're gonna do the shuffling, but before that we need to use a random function. The random is rand, there it is, but to seed it with the time, with the current time that we have, that would be better, because if we use just rand, it will give us the same number every time. Therefore we use srand, seed it with the time, because the time is always changing to the millisecond. So srand will use an unsigned, and it will be, or let's do it this way, unsigned, and we can use time 0. There we go. That's gonna seed from the time. Unsigned is just because that's how the function runs, it needs an unsigned variable, and time at 0 is whatever time it is currently. So let's go ahead and continue with it. Right here, shuffle the cards. So before we run into that, we need to create the function for it before we call it right here. So let's go to the header files right here, and actually this file is in the wrong area. The card functions, we can just drag it right between the two, it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna drag it back in the header area, header files, right click, add new item, here it is, header file, and this one is gonna be called general functions. There it is. So here we are in the general functions area right here. So in this file we're gonna include card.h, because card.h again has the main files, the main libraries, and the using namespace std. So we're gonna name the hand that we have, so card, and we're gonna create a card array. We call it hand because the hand has 52 cards, so we're gonna call an array of 52 cards. There it is. So in here I'm just gonna comment it, making the cards. Alright, and I'm gonna comment it in a better way when I put it on the website, but for now we're just gonna simply comment it a little bit. There, constants right here. So the constants are gonna be const int, and it's gonna be player. Always remember that constants should be capitalized. Players number, which is 7, comma, or I always like doing constant ints like this, so I realize how many of them do I have. Game limit is equal to 21, so basically when you reach 21 you're either a winner or a loser. Const int, the dealer limit, we don't put it in the file, we just put it right here, so it is 16. So the next thing is const int cards per player, which is 2. We give every player 2 cards. So basically this way you can change the whole game by just placing a different thing. So right here, if we want to play 8 players, we can just change that, or we can change this game limit to maybe 30, so we don't have to run to every function and change every variable. So we can go back right here to the source CPP, or right here, this source.cpp, and instead of typing 7 right here, we can call players let me see where it is. It is right here. Oh, we need to call in, instead of calling card.h right here, right, or colon, or double quotes, my bad, double quotes, and we're gonna call general functions, and now we can use it. So players, here it is, players num, copy, and let me put an enter right here so we can put them all in the same area. It's better for you to see. Cards value and hit also has 7 players, so 7 players, 7 players. We don't have to change that. So let's go back to the general functions and let's continue with it. So prototypes right here, and under it functions. So we're gonna put the prototypes because functions call other functions, and for them to see each other we need to have the prototypes right here. So let's continue. The first function we're gonna do is shuffle. So to shuffle the cards, we're gonna do void shuffle right here, shuffle cards, and we're gonna pass to it integer counter, so where to start from basically. So for integer s is equal to 3, this is the suit, and I'll explain why is it from 3. S less than or equal to 6 and s plus plus. The reason why is 3 and 6 is because in C++, if we call it as a character from 3 to 6, we will get the actual icon of the heart and the spades and every one of them, just like you do. Let me show you right here on Chrome, and here it is. Let's go to Google ASCII table. Here it is. Just like you do, like here. If you do it to 65, you will get an A. You do to 66, you get a B. For C++, if you do 3, 4, 5, 6, you get these certain heart and diamond and shape, all these shapes. You can get them that way. So let's go ahead and close it. And that's why we're doing 3 to 6. So right here, hand, the hand that we have at counter, which is 0 right here, and close that, equal to card. We're making a whole new card, and we're gonna pass to it the f, comma, char s. Actually, this is put in the wrong way. I apologize for that. You can go ahead and delete that, and we need another loop actually, and then we put that code inside it. Integer, this one, the for loop, int f equal to 1, f is less than or equal to 13, and f plus plus. This is for the face. The face basically starts from 1 as in 13, normal cards. 11, 12, 13 is jack, queen, king. So now we put that code, hand at counter, which is start from 0 and then 1, 2, 3, equal, we make a whole new card, we pass to it the face, we pass to it the char, but we have to do it this way to make sure that it passes as a char, not it passes as a number, because s is right now a number. We need to static cast it to char to make sure that this number will turn to a char and then get passed that way. The next thing is counter plus plus, just to increment the counter right here. After that, when we're done with this, we're gonna do for int I equals 0, I is less than 52 because it's 52 cards, I plus plus, and here we're gonna do the swap function. So hand at position I dot swap, here it is, and we're gonna call hand random, the random that we seeded, remainder 52, and we're gonna close it. We're gonna actually close the bracket first and then parentheses and semicolon. So basically what's going to happen here is we have from 1 to 52, and it will keep randomizing like that and get swapping between all the cards, keep swapping and swapping and swapping and so on. So let me, and I ran the function and it works just fine for now for 52. You might want to change it later on if you want to play with the cards or anything like that, but for now I'm just going to keep it at 52. We're going to go ahead and let's minimize this. Let's continue with it and see what the next function that we're going to have to write. Let's go above and we can go ahead and type the display function. The display function is going to be like this: void display cards, and the display cards is cout Blackjack by whatever your name right here, and line. So in here, cout the shuffled deck is, and we can do an end line right here, so you can just do end line, and right under it, for int I equals 0, I is less than 52, I plus plus, and right here is cout, actually no, not yet, we do an if I remainder 7 equals 0, then we cout an end of line. This is just because the console, the command prompt like this will have just 7 of them. So when we're done with 7, it will be the end of the screen. We go to the next one, just to make our lives easier when we view the cards. So let's go ahead and continue. And here, hand at position I dot display, we display the cards, and cout a tab. And just to make the code less buggy, we're gonna take this away. There it is, and we take the semicolon away too, and it's just one cout, one semicolon, just to make it less code. And here it is. Here is the display cards. It's going to display the cards, and it's going to put a tab right after it. There is not much to it. If there is I remainder 7, if it is 7, after displaying 7 cards, we can go ahead and put an end of line after that. So let's go ahead and go back to our main source.cpp. Here it is, and under the random shuffle cards right here, we are gonna call the shuffle function. So right there, we're gonna call shuffle. So right here, shuffle cards, right there it is, and we're gonna call by passing index to it. Index is right here, which is 0. We're starting from 0, so we pass 0 to it. Or you can just like pass a number 0. It doesn't really matter, but I just like to keep it like this, so that if you want to pass a different number, you can just change this. You don't have to go manually find the function and change it, just to make your life easier. Let's go ahead and continue with this. You also need to change players num, like here players, and change that. Let's input from the file, input players at position I, and I apologize for this. I put a semicolon here. I'm not. I shouldn't put a semicolon. I should put hit. We need the hit. I'm looking at the file, and I'm looking at what I need to get. So let me actually bring up the file right here. So the first, the name, and second, the hit limit. So we get players and hit. So the players is player's name, so we can change that players names, or player name right here. We can change that player name instead of, and right here the hit, we can change that to player, or right here player hit. You don't have to change it, but it just makes your life easier. Player hit. Okay, so after we input that, we do a while, just a normal while as usual. Not fn dot end of file. So while it's not the end of the file, we keep inputting and doing the same thing. So here it is. We take all this, we put it right here, and we do I plus plus just to know how many players we have because of the I. And right here we're gonna do everything. This function will do everything from start to end. we're gonna call it right in here, but we need to code it. So we can go ahead and close this function right here, card.class, and instead we can bring source.cpp right on the right hand and make it smaller, so we can go back to the card functions .h right here, or not actually general functions, I apologize, general functions. We can go to here. So before we do anything, let's put the prototypes right in there, right above it. First thing first, we're gonna call it just A to Z and A to Z, just alphabetically we're putting it. So display cards right here, the first one, and let's put an enter above it, semicolon, and we also have the shuffle cards. We're gonna put it right here in the prototype, and semicolon. Just copy the header, put it right there. The next function would be do everything. So do everything is just to make it that we only need one line right here, and that's all we need. Everything is passed through it, so we don't have to keep going back and forth and passing items to it. So it's gonna be right under display cards, because it's do, not di. Di comes first. So right here, void do everything, and we're gonna pass the string of players names. I'm just gonna call it players function, and integer hit function, and comma, and I, how many players we have. The next thing would be int values, or player values, also an array, and that's about it. That's all we need. So you can change, instead of players function, players names, and here hit players hit. You can change that. You can change it to whatever name you want. That's up to you. Let's copy the header, this one, and put it right here. Put it right in the middle, semicolon, and that's it. We're done with it. So now let's open and close brackets, and let's go ahead and pass. The first thing first, we need to fill the dealer. So we're gonna make a function called fill dealer. To do it, we're gonna do it right here, right under it. So fill. Actually, we're gonna have to give it a type. So void fill dealer string, and there's a dealer. That's we're gonna pass the dealer name. So in here, dealer name, and int dealer hit, and pass integer I. So in here we're gonna do dealer at position I plus 1 equal to dealer. The reason for that is, and let me just continue with it. So dealer hit I plus 1 is equal to dealer. Dealer should be a constant variable right here. There it is, dealer. And we're encountering some issues right here just because of dealer, the name, dealer name and dealer hit. There, I mistaken the name. So let's call it right here. So fill dealer, there it is, and we're gonna pass three things to it. So players names, and we're gonna pass to it players hit, and we're gonna pass I to it. Let's copy this header and put it right under do everything, semicolon. So here's why we did that. The reason for that is players names we pass to fill dealer. The dealer is, we already have right here, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 players, right? So the dealer is 7th, but we don't have the number 7, so we get amount of players plus 1. The last player is a dealer, so we give it the name, and then the last player plus 1 is the dealer limit. So now we just created it. Now we just created the fill dealer right here. So right after it, we just create another function called display cards, and let's open close, and we're gonna make this function right above here, or we already have it. I'm thinking of a different function that we need to create. So we already have the display cards right in here, right, this one, display cards. The function that we actually need to create, so this will display, this is the game and this is the players, and after that we need to create a display hit limit, so display how much hit limit each user has. So display hit limit, and we're gonna pass to it players names because we need to display the names. We're gonna pass to it players hit also. There it is. So to do this function, it will be under display cards. So here display, or it's gonna be a void function right here, void display hit limit, and we're gonna pass to it string player names, player's name. We can do that. We're gonna also pass to it an integer hit players hit. There we go. So now right in here, we're gonna do cout player name, and we're gonna do a tab and hit limit. This is just the header of it, and we forgot a semi double quotes right here and line. This is just the header of what we're going to display. So under it, we're going to do a for loop. This is going to display everything. Integer I equals 0. I is less than players num. So how many players we have, we're going to display that much amount of players. And we're going to do -1 because it's from 0, so it's less than 7. So there we go. And I plus plus. I want to make sure you understand this. If we started from 1, we could have done players num, but we're starting from 0, so we need to -1 in this. That's why. So let's go ahead and do set fill to spaces. And so if we have any extra space, we're going to set it with spaces. So cout on the right, set width is 11 for the names, and we can display players name at position I, and there's a space, and then we can do right set width. For the hit limit, we just put a 9 because this is 9 and this is 12. Here we go. Players hit I and line. There it is. Now we display all the cards, all the hit limits, and at the end we do cout end. That's end line, or you can just change it to end line, whichever you want. So let's go ahead and call this. Actually, let's go ahead and copy and paste this right here under display cards. There it is. Just a prototype. Make sure that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prototypes. You don't have to run this code, but I'm gonna call in the source.cpp right here. We're gonna call do everything. There it is. We're gonna pass to it player name, and actually we don't put brackets right here. Player hit I, and what did we call player value? We called it, let's see what we called it right here, cards value. So here, cards, there it is, cards value, close it, and semicolon. So let me drag this out a little bit and make sure that you see everything. Here's the function being called. Let me drag it a little bit more. There we go. There it is. Do everything. You pass players' names, player hit, I, cards value. Let's run it and see what happens right now. So obviously we got a few issues just because we haven't finished the whole thing. So we're gonna go ahead and continue coding until the end of it. and then we're gonna test it out to see if it's working or not. Since we have a lot of functions to write other than this, we have about 3 more functions, and it's too long to put it in one tutorial, so I'm gonna end this one right here. And if you want to continue with it, you can watch the second part. So please go ahead, like and subscribe if you can, and if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask me on YouTube or indiedevelopment.co. So thanks for watching.